A $200 watch can destroy a $5,000 suit. And most men don't know the dress watch rules that prevent it. It is not the fabric. It is not the cut. Tailors have a test for this, and it has nothing to do with price. Jacket sleeve stops at the wrist bone. Shirt cuff shows about half an inch past it. The watch either disappears under that half inch or it has already ruined the outfit before anyone shakes your hand. Here is the number that runs this whole list. A proper dress watch needs to sit at roughly 9 to 10 millimeters thick to slide under a standard cuff without a fight. French cuffs are less forgiving, under 8.5 millimeters, or you are yanking your sleeve every time you check the time. Patek Philippe builds the benchmark case to prove it. The Calatrava reference 5196 runs 37 millimeters wide and 8 millimeters thick. The caliber 215 PS movement inside is just 2.55 millimeters thin, which is the engine that makes that 8 millimeter case possible. That is not an accident. That is watchmakers doing the same math tailors do. Savile Row bespoke cutters and Swiss movement engineers have been solving the same equation from opposite ends for over a century. Now let that sit for a second. Every watch on this list gets measured against that one number. Number 7, dive watches with rotating bezels. A Submariner style case is built to survive 100 meters of seawater, which means a thick case back, a raised bezel, and lugs that were never designed to vanish under fabric. Style writers are blunt about it. Dive watches read as too casual for formal attire. Full stop. There is one famous exception, and it is worth knowing before you use it as an excuse. Sean Connery wore a Rolex Submariner with a tuxedo in the earliest Bond films, and it worked because he was Sean Connery playing the most famous spy on the planet. You are not shooting a scene in Monaco. You are standing next to your firm's managing partner at a client dinner, and the bezel just caught your cufflink. Number 6, chronographs stacked with pushers. 2 extra buttons in a sub-dial cluster look sharp on a boarding gate or a racetrack. Style guides are consistent on this point too. Chronographs and moon phase complications read as too sporty for traditional suiting. The problem is not just the look, it is the geometry. Extra pushers add height, and height is exactly what the cuff test punishes. Number 5, anything over 44 millimeters. Case size guides put the classic everyday range for men at 38 to 42 millimeters and treat 44 plus as a bold, sport-oriented statement piece. A big watch does not just fail the sleeve test. It fights your jacket for attention, and the jacket costs $5,000 for a reason. Here is where it turns, because the next mistake has nothing to do with size at all. Number 4, mismatched metals. Silver watch, gold belt buckle. Brushed steel case, high polished gold cufflinks. Style writers call this out specifically. Keep your metals matched. Warm tones with warm tones, cool with cool, because a wrist that argues with a belt buckle reads as careless, not eclectic. Number 3, rubber and nylon straps. A strap is doing half the work a case is doing. Rubber and nylon read as sporty by design, which is exactly what they are built for, but a black tie event is not a dive trip, and a sports strap under a French cuff looks like you got dressed in the dark. Number 2, smartwatches. Digital displays on the formal wrist create what style writers now openly call an etiquette dilemma, because a glowing screen fights the entire premise of a mechanical watch under a suit, which is quiet, permanent craftsmanship, not a notification. If you must wear one to a formal event, the only workaround style experts suggest is a traditional analog face on an alligator or crocodile leather strap. Never a rubber strap flashing your heart rate at a client dinner. Number 1, any watch at any price that fails the cuff test outright. This is the sin underneath every other sin on this list. You can buy the correct brand, the correct dial, the correct strap, and still ruin the suit if the case sits north of 11 or 12 millimeters thick and refuses to disappear under that half-inch of shirt cuff. Price does not fix geometry. Only geometry fixes geometry. If you are starting to see the pattern here, none of this is really about brand. It is about a piece of arm hardware either respecting the sleeve or fighting it. So which 5 actually earn their place under a $5,000 jacket? Number 5, a daily dress watch in the sub 9 millimeter range, something like a Nomos Tangenti or a Seiko Presage Sharp Edgette, both landing near the $700 mark. Not a status flex, a correctly sized tool that clears business casual Fridays without embarrassing you at a Tuesday client meeting. Number 4, the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony. Most dress watches sit smaller, but the Patrimony is the named exception at 40 millimeters and still reads as pure dress watch because thickness, not diameter, is what actually decides the category. Number 3, the Piaget Altiplano. This is the extreme end of the cuff test, some models running under 7 millimeters thick. The ultimate concept edition gets down to 2 millimeters, though at that point it is more engineering statement than daily wearer, built by watchmakers who understood that the entire point of elegance is a detail nobody notices until they do. The A. Lang and Son Saxonia Thin sits at 5.9 millimeters and belongs in this same conversation. German engineering solving the same problem Piaget does from Geneva, which is why any serious discussion of ultra-thin dress watches runs through both cities. Number 2, the Cartier Tank. A rectangular case sidesteps the whole diameter conversation that round watches get stuck in, and a rectangular profile is always run slimmer by design, which is exactly why it survives formal wear across generations without anyone questioning it. The Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso earns the same pass for the same reason. Another rectangular case, another silhouette that reads as dress appropriate the moment it clears the shirt cuff cleanly. Number 1, the Patek Philippe Calatrava, reference 5196. Same watch that opened this list. 37 millimeters wide, 8 millimeters thick. The exact proportions both tailors and watchmakers use as the reference point for everything else on this countdown. It is not on this list because it is expensive. It is on this list because it is correct. Here's the complication. Because rules like this exist so that a handful of people can break them on purpose and have it read as confidence instead of ignorance. Gianni Agnelli, the Italian industrialist, was famous for wearing his watch over his shirt cuff instead of under it, and it became his signature rather than his mistake. That only works one way. You have to know the rule cold before breaking it earns you anything. Wear a Submariner over your cuff because you never learned the test and you look uninformed. Wear it there because you have spent a decade proving you know exactly what 9mm means, and it reads as command. None of this is trivia. Rolex has been adjusting gold models upward while holding steel flat, a deliberate signal about which tier buyer the brand is protecting and which one it is willing to let drift toward steel. The wrist is still where money quietly announces itself, and it will keep doing that whether or not you have run the cuff test before your next meeting. So the next time you reach for a watch before you put on that jacket, do the math the tailors already did. Sleeve at the wrist bone, 1/2 inch of cuff. The watch either disappears under it or the suit was wasted the moment you walked out the door.